This episode is brought to you by my very own children's book titled The Universe is Listening, Little One. It's a gorgeous, gentle introduction to manifestation and self-belief for kids. My children absolutely love it, and if you think yours will too, you can find it available now on Amazon. The link is in the show notes.
Hello and welcome to The Universe is Listening podcast, your weekly podcast, all things manifestation. I'm your host, Joanna Hall, and today's episode is titled Life is a Mirror, Why Your Self-Concept is Running the Show. Before we start, I'd just like to say that this episode is kind of a part 2 to episode 1. So if you haven't listened to episode 1 yet, I'd really recommend going back and having a little listen, because I feel like in these 2 episodes, I've really tried my best to cover what I believe are the foundations in manifesting. Manifesting starts with us. So when we understand ourselves and understand how we can start to work with ourselves, our manifestations are going to flourish. So let's get right into today's episode and talk about how our life is a big old mirror and what self-concept is. We're going to find out what we can do to change our self-concept so that we can hold the power to change our reality. Life is a mirror. It reflects everything back at us. Think of the mirror as the universe. The reflection we see in the mirror is not a reflection of what we want. It's a reflection of who we are. And our self-concept runs the show. And this isn't really talked about enough in mainstream manifestation. Some people don't even realize they have a self-concept or that there even is a show. I've been studying the law of attraction for years, and I really only got to understand it properly about a year ago. And you can call it self-concept, or some prefer to call it your story, your identity. It's just who you are, like to your core. So let's talk about this invisible identity that we're living with and how it shapes our reality, and also how changing it changes everything. So what is self-concept? Your self-concept is basically the story you believe about who you are. Not the version of you that you post on Instagram or someone that you wish you were. It's your default. It's your default setting you return to when no one's watching. So it's who you are behind closed doors, in the comfort of your own home. No one's got eyes on you, your true feelings. And our self-concept is created by the life that we've lived. So it's all our personal experiences, and everyone's is different. It's how we've been brought up, our thoughts and perceptions of the world that we've basically inherited from our family, and just those quiet assumptions we have, like I'm too shy, things never work out how I want them to, feeling sorry for ourselves, the poor me narrative, people always leave me, things like that. And we're not thinking these consciously. This is our subconscious that creates our identity, and we live through it. And that big mirror, that's life, right? It responds to our self-concept and just goes, okay, you said so it's true. It's like Aladdin and the genie in the lamp. Your wish is my command. That's why in life, when we keep attracting the same old shit, the same patterns in relationships, work, money problems, it's not just bad luck. It's not the universe ignoring us, even when we're trying to visualize and manifest. It's because our self-concept is the director of our life, and no matter how hard we try to change directions and manifest what we want, the mirror sees our true selves and reflects it back to us. There's a great line from Dr. Joe Dispenza. You've probably heard of him. He's a neurologist and an author, and he's been on loads of stuff like the Diary of a CEO podcast, so he's quite well known. And he says, your personality creates your personal reality. Do I have to repeat that? Yeah. Your personality creates your personal reality, which is both empowering and deeply annoying, because it means we can't blame the universe or other people for everything. It's all on us. It's our personality. It's our self-concept. So in a nutshell, self-concept is the story you believe about who you are and how you subconsciously expect life to treat you. So let's talk about how life is a big mirror, right? Life is a mirror because it doesn't argue with you, it doesn't correct you, it doesn't say things like, are you sure about that? It just reflects. That's its job. Life really is a mirror. Manifesting's a mirror. The universe just reflects. So you wouldn't stand in front of a mirror and shout at it and expect it to smile back at you. But firstly, because that would be bloody creepy, like a scene out of that film Smile, and we don't want nightmares. But secondly, because that's not how mirrors work. And you wouldn't argue with the mirror and demand it to change your life. If we could, we'd all be 10 out of 10 supermodels. That was the case. So we can't fix the reflection or demand change, but we can fix what's standing in front of it. If you walk into life as, I'm not good enough, this is just who I am, life just says, okay. No matter what it is we desire or we're trying to manifest, the mirror just sees who we are. The mirror's not judging us, it's not punishing us, it's simply agreeing with us. And annoyingly, it doesn't have a life filter or a beauty filter. And if the mirror could talk, it would just be like, no, babes, this is exactly what you ordered. This is what you believe, and this is what you're going to get. So we need to change that narrative and stop being loyal to our old selves and start being loyal to who we want to be. That might be why some people self-sabotage just before they're about to hit success. Some people struggle with money, they get it and immediately lose it. And we just keep ending up in the same situations again and again. It's not on purpose. It's because they're loyal to their old identity. So how can we change it? So we know what self-concept is. It's our story, it's our identity, and we know that life is a mirror. How do we change it? How do we change our self-concept and get a new reflection? Well, we can't change our self-concept by forcing positive thoughts or just standing in the mirror and going like, I'm rich, I'm magnetic, I'm powerful, while your brain is still going, girl, you had a breakdown yesterday in Tesco because you forgot your purse. Like the mirror knows us, the universe knows us. But we can change it by changing the version of us that we keep agreeing with. Change who's standing in front of the mirror. Then we can start running the show. It's all well and good saying, right, we've got a self-concept and we need to change it, okay? We need to change our identity. But how do we even know what it is? So it could be helpful for you to write it down or just take some time to think about it, whatever floats your boat. Find out what your self-concept is. You need to be brutally honest. It's so awkward, but we've got to do it. We've got to do the work. What do you believe about yourself? Are you crap with money? Are you unhealthy? Are you shy? Why do you react like that? What bothers me about this and why does it bother me? Is it because this happened to me? Is it because of this experience? Is that why I don't trust people? Is that why I always expect the worst? No one is perfect, guys. Like, we all have issues. And we don't need to tell anyone, it's private. Sometimes it's hard to be honest with ourselves about who we are deep down. But we can't change it until we understand who we are and why we're like that. So give yourself some grace. And then you'll know what you can work on. And it will be easier for you to notice this stuff when it pops up. So here are 3 simple steps we can do to change our self-concept and get the ball rolling and start making some bloody changes to our lives. Number 1 is notice. This is just catching yourself in the moment. Noticing the patterns in our thoughts and reactions to things like here we go again. This always happens to me, poor me, it's always me. Like noticing when we're too quick to react negatively to something. We're not fixing it yet, we're just realizing like, oh, this is the story I keep telling myself, like a broken record on repeat. Do you know what I mean? And then number 2, direct. This is where you take a pause and we can take the lead and direct the situation, okay? We're going to start running this show. This is where we can go, okay, right, that's my old pattern talking. I'm not doing that anymore. And we kick the old version of ourselves out of the driver's seat. We might still feel uncomfortable. It might not come natural, but we just don't let it decide for us anymore. So I can give an example, right? As a mum, there might be times where my kids might come to me and ask me to do something or ask for something, and I might be really stressed or tired. Like, say I've just got in the door from work, I've still got my coat on, keys in my hand. You know the vibe, right? And then I pause and think, why am I even saying no? Like, what's the big deal? They're kids, just let them. So it's perfectly fine to correct ourselves and actually say, yeah, okay, babe, you can do that. You know, because that's not me. That's not who I want to be. I was actually talking about this with my sisters the other day, and one of them said a great line. They said, my first reaction isn't my last reaction. And that's so true. We all react in a human way, just too quick. We can pause and correct ourselves, guys. That just reminds me, I think in episode 1 I said I had 4 sisters. I don't. I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. And then my sister was like, who's the 4th sister? Is it Lucy? My little imposter. Anyway, just clear that up. Okay, so step 3. This is where the magic is. Taking that moment to notice, pause, and go in a different direction gives you the chance to act differently. So we can start making small choices as the version of us that we're becoming. Even when we feel like a bit of a fraud and it's not our normal reaction or action, like when you do this, it feels like a breath of fresh air. It really does. It feels like, wow, look at me, I'm amazing. Like I'm taking the high road, I'm being my best self. I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm going to do it differently. And we're not pretending. We're training a new identity. It's basically the fake it till you make it stage. We assume everyone can tell that we're faking it, but I promise they can't. It's just that bloody imposter piping up. So those 3 steps, notice, direct, and act, are how we're going to change our identity. It's how we're going to change our self-concept. The person standing in front of the mirror. We don't have to be perfect, but we're giving the universe some evidence. The reflection in our mirror will see us trying and reflect back a better image. The beautiful thing about changing our self-concept is actually it shuts up that bloody imposter syndrome. That little voice gets quieter because it hasn't got a leg to stand on. Because you're showing evidence of change. You've got the receipts to prove it. And we don't want to be stuck in our old self-concept forever, do we? Like, that's not the vibe. It's not giving, as the Gen Zs would say. It's not giving. Because that little voice, that little imposter comes from our self-concept. Who we believe we are deep down. It knows us, yeah? And it will try and remind us we can't do it. So get in the director chair and send it backstage. Like, this is our show. Our nervous systems will complain, by the way, big time. They're like a dramatic toddler. You can change one thing and it's like, no, absolutely not, I don't want to. Because our brain prefers the familiar, even if the familiar is chaos. Our brains are like, yeah, it's chaos, but we love it because it's our chaos. So we just have to override it. Just override that feeling that it's not what you normally do. It's uncomfortable, but change doesn't happen when you're comfortable. Okay, so we know our self-concept runs the show. It's time to take back control, appoint ourselves a new CEO of our life and decide how we see ourselves, who we are, and work on being that. And then the big mirror of life will start to change and what we see in the reflection will be a whole lot better. When we want to manifest something like, say, a new car, our self-concept is like, oh, actually, I like the idea of it, but I can't really imagine me driving that lovely car. I've never had one before. And then the universe will just say, okay. But if we keep training ourselves to really believe it, actually, yes, I know myself and I know that's the perfect car for me. The universe is also going to say, okay. So I can give you an example of how 2 people do the same thing and get different results. So let's say it's a new job. There are 2 people starting the same job. One person thinks, I'm really shy. They're probably not going to like me. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's call them person A, right? And then person B, their attitude is, I'll figure it out. You know, if I get stuck, I can ask for help. I'm going to try my best. I know I'm a valuable person to have around. Guess who ends up thriving? Person B every time. They're both starting a new job for the first time, and just their self-concept, their identity, and what they believe about themselves is going to change their outcome at that job. And you know, changing our self-concept isn't an overnight thing. It's a journey, and it's just going to get better and better. Another way to look at it is like a ladder, right? So it's not immediate. We don't go from I'm a mess to all of a sudden I'm a confident, abundant goddess. Our nervous systems are just going to reject that because it doesn't have any evidence. It doesn't see any evidence. But we can climb that ladder one step at a time. And we're saying, I'm learning, I'm figuring things out. I'm getting better at this. I'm someone who can handle things now. I'm someone who deserves nice things. So by the time we get to the top after doing the work, we're going to be noticing, directing, and acting differently. We're going to see a different reflection in that mirror, but also a different reality. Here's a final tip that I think you could find really useful. It's to find an anchor. So have a look around now. Is there anything that you could use as an anchor, a reminder to keep directing your life and becoming the new you? So it could be like a watch, a ring, or, you know what, it could be a mirror. A mirror would be a good one. So take a moment when you see your anchor. Say if it is a mirror. Every time you're out and about or at home and you see a mirror, you come across one, remind yourself that you're now running the show, okay? You're the CEO, you're the director, you're running your own show. Our identity is changing and our self-concept is changing. And we're going to start to truly know ourselves, and not to sound corny, but love ourselves. You know what they say, no one can love you until you love yourself. And I think that goes for the universe too. We want all the good things in life and we want the rewards, so we want the universe to love us. I think it's a really good tip to have an anchor because all of us are so busy and it's so easy to get sidetracked, which is just totally normal, that's life. So it can be really helpful to have an anchor to remind us. And it could be something simple like a watch or a ring or your car, your bed. And when you're in it, just remember, I'm the boss. I'm in the driver's seat. My self-concept is running the show and I'm in control of my self-concept. And do you know what? Be crazy. I love throwing a bit of crazy in there. If you see yourself in the mirror, give yourself a smile. Smile at yourself. Like, love yourself. You're the boss. That reflection is your reality. Okay, I'll be honest, I've never smiled at myself in a mirror, but now I've said it, I'm going to have to give it a try. So we can all be crazy together. Like, who cares? Make it fun. Like, life doesn't have to be so bloody serious all the time. And neither does manifesting. When you're having fun, you're happy. With manifesting, we need to remember that, say if we wanted to manifest a big house, a car, a new job, why do we want to manifest that? It's going to make us happy. So really, the whole point of manifesting is to just be happy and live a great life. Whatever material things you manifest along the way, bonus. So we can start being happy now. We don't need to wait for that. We don't need to wait for that perfect house, the perfect this. Live in the moment. I know I just said that was the final tip, but I've actually just thought of another one. So if you're into affirmations, instead of saying the basic things like I'm rich, I'm successful, while we're reprogramming from the ground up and we're training our self-concept, we can say things like, I'm getting better with ... I'm building my success. I'm trying hard. I'm seeing results and my identity is changing. Give yourself some time. Walk before you run. It doesn't have to be immediate, because actually taking the time to work on your identity is actually going to speed up our manifestations, because the universe is actually going to listen to you. It's going to believe you. Because the person standing in front of that mirror is working on themselves and showing the world some evidence. And the mirror has no choice but to change and say, your wish is my command. And there we go. Our reality is starting to change. And if you start trying this and you don't keep it up, that's normal. We don't beat ourselves up about it. It's fine. It's not failing. It's familiar. That's actually a good line. It's not failing. It's familiar. Just notice, direct and act over and over and get yourself back on track. So remember, we can't change the mirror, but we can change who's standing in front of it. And the beautiful thing about this is it's actually really simple. We don't need to fix our whole life and make it into some massive thing. We just need to update the identity that's running it, so we can stop wishing and hoping for life to change and start directing. Before I go, I've got to leave you with a quote from Jay-Z. I know it's so random, and I think I quoted Beyonce last week. I swear to God, I'm not obsessed with them. But anyway, he said, you've got to be who you are before you can be who you want. I mean, talk about spot on self-concept. He should have a bloody manifestation podcast. He knows what he's talking about. You've got to be who you are before you can be who you want. You've got to know yourself and embrace it. You've got to be who you are before you can be who you want. This is like the foundation of manifesting. I really think it is. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, well, thank you guys. That's the end of today's podcast. I hope you got some value from that. And since this podcast is called The Universe is Listening, please join me next week where we're going to talk about how we can start listening to the universe. Not just the big signs, but the quiet ones that go unnoticed, that could be making all the difference in our manifesting journey. Thank you so much again for joining me and pressing play, and have a lovely day. Bye.